Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Garth Fisher, and welcome to The Cutting Edge. This show is more than just aesthetics. It's where health, beauty, culture, and innovation intersect, a space to explore the worlds of entertainment, elite performance, personal transformation, and yes, a little bit of plastic surgery. Each week, I'll be sitting down with thought leaders, icons, athletes, artists, and experts who are shaping our world and doing it with precision, purpose, and impact. This is your front row seat to unfiltered conversations, inspiring journeys, and the science behind the beauty. Let's get started. Today's guest is a true visionary behind the lens and a close personal friend of mine. Josh Ryan has built an iconic career capturing some of the most striking, seductive, and unforgettable images in modern photography. From high fashion editorials to the world's most recognizable faces, his work has graced the pages of major magazines and defied luxury, lifestyle, and branding. But beyond the camera, Josh is sharp, funny, and full of stories you won't want to miss. So, Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Appreciate it. What an intro.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Good to have you.
I just wanted to start the show off with a bang and get this out of the way. So I brought you a little something. You know how I like to give you like unique and fun gifts, as you do too.
Yeah.
As the bison ball sitting in my closet. But I wanted to give you this as a little bit of a momentum of our trip. Showing mission accomplished.
That is a great picture. Wow. I want to, and what we're gonna have to discuss this on the second show.
Okay.
We won't discuss this on the first show. Josh and I have we go back way back, and we've got some very interesting conversation to have beyond what we're going to talk about today. But it behooves me to talk about anything other than what you're just known all around the world for as a photographer and. Anyway, how did you even get into photography? Because you're known all around the world for this.
I guess so. I get around a little bit. It wasn't the life plan. Moved to LA in 2000. I think it was 2000, and I came here to run a gentleman's club. Mm-hmm. And I was dating a model at the time, and coincidentally, you worked on her before I knew you, and she started modeling in Los Angeles, and I was working at the club here, and before you knew it, she was gaining traction and getting some notoriety, and she was pretty good and kind of a tech kind of girl, and she built her own website. And this is like right at the boom of the .com era, and she was like, you should take some pictures of me for my website. And I was going to these photo shoots with her and, watching the photographers and always saying, I feel like I could do this.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I do. And I wanted to like interrupt them and say, why don't you do it like this instead? And, a lot of these guys are just egomaniacs. If I said anything, they just get so offended. So I bought a camera and just started experimenting. And my first digital camera literally took one of those plastic floppy disks in the side of it. Was a whopping 2 megapixel.
Right.
And I started taking pictures, started experimenting. And then I started buying magazines and trying to understand where the light came from and how they lit certain things. And then I eventually bought a light and then another better camera. And by that time, I was 7 years into this nightclub business of just hell. Maybe a fun place to go once in a while with your buddies, but not a fun place to work. But I was good at it, and I was somewhat successful at it, but I was the hours were killing me. So I had a little bit of money in the bank, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go for this thing. And I had a few jobs here and there, and mostly they were like adult related jobs. I used to shoot the box covers for adult films and stuff like that. Those were like the first, horrifying jobs of mine. But other than that, that's kind of how I got started. And then, of course, a few years later, I got a big break. And
well, when you look at your trajectory, which I think a lot is kind of like mine. I mean, you went from, ground zero to the stars. And here you are now, and household name. And anybody who's a photographer knows who you are, and they'll probably learn from you as we'll get into later. I know you're doing your workshops. But, you transition from, doing these little box covers and things like that, and all of a sudden working with iconic brands like Playboy and now Guess, but I think you were the main photographer for Playboy for so long, which I know that opens a lot of doors.
Yeah, that was definitely a game changer. I started at the very bottom. That was sort of my big break, believe it or not. Like, my first big job was Playboy, and it was that's kind of unheard of. You know, my girlfriend at the time was friends with a model named Sunny Leone, and her boyfriend worked for a company that Playboy just acquired, and she hired me to shoot her because she liked my photos, and she goes, "Hey, my boyfriend's company just got bought by Playboy. They're looking for a new photographer." And she goes, I'll tell him to, you know, I'll tell him to check you out or submit you. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. I kind of blew it off. Like, I didn't think anything of it. And of course, a week later, I got a call and they asked me to come to Florida to do a test. And that was in '06 or something like that. And literally from that point on, I started at the very bottom, like just doing internet photos, and worked there 10 years. And of course, the last 3 years, I was the senior photographer, you know, and the last photographer to work with Hef that was on contract. So yeah, it was quite a journey. And
20 years.
10 years, 10 years. But it was a really hard and fun 10 years. Yeah, that's really what made my career.
Well, you know what? I was kind of in the same boat in the mid '90s when Hefner called my office, and I told him I did these breasts, and he started sending everybody from the Playboy Mansion, and you know, here I am, 20,000 plus breasts later, and you know, during that period of time, for a series of 10 years, I always heard about Josh Ryan. Who's Josh Ryan? Who's Josh Ryan? And then finally, I think we met at an event, and finally got to know each other and been friends ever since. And then I think you had made some really funny comment on a picture that we had taken together, and you had said, there's a picture of you and I, and you said, there's probably a really decent chance that either you or I have seen your girlfriend's breast.
That was Cabo, and we took a photo together, and I go, chances are one of us has seen your girlfriend naked.
Well, yeah, because you had done hundreds of videos, so all professionally, of course.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, that was kind of a odd thing, and
and same for me too, because I was obviously shooting girls that were flying in from all over. I mean, all over the world, and they'd book a photo shoot with me, and a lot of times I'd say, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm you know, having a consultation to get some work done." I'm like, "Oh, you're going to?" "Oh, I'm meeting with Garth Fisher." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's great. He's the best." Yeah. So I would, you know, your name would pop up all the time throughout my years of, you know, shooting, even before we were friends. So interesting. And the worlds collide, obviously.
Yeah. So probably not, but you didn't envision yourself ever becoming like this high-end, like world's best fashion photographer and glamour photographer? I mean, it just happened, or was it a drive? Did you want to get there at some point, or?
I started this not thinking that it would be a career, you know, like it was sort of you know, I've always been a very artistic person, you know, drawing and painting and sketching, all that stuff. But I never thought that I could actually make a career out of this. And I was in a very, like a very small bubble when I first started photography of, I would say, Playboy in the adult world, and stepping out of that just seemed impossible to me. And so my sights were, I guess you could say, limited, because that world to me was just the only world I knew from, you know, gentlemen's clubs and Playboy and you know, adult stuff. So, but I always had, I started getting this like desire to like go beyond that, and especially when I started like learning more about other photographers and famous photographers that are dead and long gone, and you know, I started appreciating their work, and I just felt like there's something else out there for me, and that's when I started really, you know, kind of experimenting and kind of zoning in on, you know, leveling up a little bit.
So it's Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Josh Ryan, world-renowned photographer, and just talk about his life experiences, how he started, where he got, which is really, you're high on the totem pole now. But this all kind of fast-tracked you, those experiences that you never would have known, but you met great people, of course, beautiful women who will take you to a lot of places. And you've done a lot since then. If there's a signature Josh Ryan aesthetic, what would you say it would be when you look at pictures?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you think back about that, it's obviously changed over the years. You know, at the beginning they're very loud and in your face, and you know, a lot of energy and lots of stuff going on. I think my signature aesthetic, if you were to explain it, is somewhat, I like to call it effortlessly sexy, you know, and a bit of timeless in there. I try not to date my photos too much, if that makes sense. I like them to last. So,
Yeah, that's good.
and that's one thing I've developed over time is making your images last.
Learning that ability
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah, it's not easy.
Well, you've gone from Playboy now to Guess. I mean, you're doing. I mean, what all brands are you with now?
I mean,
so many.
there's tons. I mean, they change every year. You know, I always feel like I have like a staple couple brands that I'm working for nonstop or that I'm on contract with. You know, Playboy really took over my life when I was there, and I focused so much on it because I was so into the experience of it. And back then, you know, as you know, guys worked 30, 40 years for Playboy. You know, we didn't know it was going to end. We didn't think it was going to end. But I had other things in mind. I sort of set Guess in the radar and I put it on in the scope and was setting myself up to eventually make a play for them or, you know, be in that zone and get out of the Playboy world. And it was really, really hard to cross over, especially with the label as a Playboy photographer. Yeah.
It's Dr. Garth Fisher, The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Josh Ryan, a very famous photographer, good friend. He's just you'll see his pictures and Guess. I mean, so many different fantastic big brands, and he's got billboards everywhere in the world. And when you see somebody beautiful on Guess, that's probably who was shooting it. But anyway, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back in just a minute. Hi, it's Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Josh Ryan, world-renowned photographer, just so talented. It's amazing, and a good friend of mine. We're talking about all of his journey, and when you tell us about the Guess experience. So you got them, and you see Marciano. All these big billboards are just amazing. Somebody has to. You should just look up these billboards and pictures.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
It's amazing how
Actually,
you
just
capture
passed
that.
one on the way into the studio. I was like, wow, I can't believe this one's still up there. Must have forgot about it.
I mean, it's so tasteful and beautiful.
No, it's great. Yeah, like I said, I had my sights on it for a while, and after Playboy, it was interesting. I sort of floated around for a while after that whole ship sunk and the contracts ended, and not really knowing where I was going to go, where I was going to land, and so I spent about 6 to 8 months just trying to figure out a plan. And I was familiar and kind of friendly with Paul Marciano a little bit. We met in Cabo at New Year's, and I'd been bugging him and trying to get in for a while. And I even like aligned myself and set up this whole shoot when I was at Playboy of a guest model and got her on the cover of Playboy, thinking that he would come and, oh wow, this is great.
That's very smart of you.
Yeah, I did,
and I manifested.
I brought him the first issue hot off the press. I wasn't even in stands yet. I delivered it to him, and that's when he sort of showed me around the studio. And I bugged him for a while. Hey, I'd like to do a shoot with you. I had to test with you, and he's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it sometime. And finally, I woke up one day. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to text this guy and say. I texted him. I just said, listen, give me some of your wardrobe. I'll do a test for you. If you like it, cool, maybe we can do something. If not, I'll never bug you again. And at the time, I'd been floating around for almost a year and running out of money. So I took like $10,000 of my own money and I produced like a 3-day shoot. And he actually gave me a couple models, gave me some wardrobe. I had locations, everything. I did the whole thing. Had them printed right here next door, actually, at Icon, and had them hand-delivered with white gloves, this giant box, spent like $600 on these prints, and got a call like 2 days later, said, Paul wants to meet with you. And I walk in the office, and there my prints are on the table, and he comes in and starts bending them all up and wrinkling them, going through them. And he's like, I like this, I kind of like this. He's like, I'm going to give you my team and do a shoot, and you work with my team. And so we spent 2 days in Hollywood Hills shooting. Did the same thing, went through all the prints, had them all printed up, sent them over, and I got called in again. And he walked in and he said, my friend, I think you earned yourself a campaign. And that was sort of a, game-changing moment for me right there. Yeah.
Wow, it's a testament to what, positive thinking and planning can do. I mean, you're really assertive and you made these things happen for yourself.
Yeah, it was really like a got nothing to lose moment. And I'm like, I had to get out of my head for a minute.
That was smart.
Yeah.
But when I go back to the beginning of the show, you're talking about you're shooting box covers, just picked up a camera, shooting your girlfriend. This is not something that everybody can do. You've got a talent. You've got there's something innate in you that makes you able to do this that other people, I'm sure I couldn't do this even, but, it's something inside you. And now I think you're teaching other people. You've got a whole workshop, Josh Ryan Photo Workshop. It's a seminar because I know I've had some friends that have done this and just thought it was the most amazing experience. Tell us about that.
Well, I think to go back to your point, I think a lot of my success, I should say, has a lot to do with connecting with the subjects. And I've always been really good with connecting with women and understanding them and making them feel very comfortable around me in any situation. So that's helped a lot in my career. And, of course, in the beginning, I didn't know a lot, but I did a lot of fake it till you make it, and it
you're
worked.
A great people person.
It worked. So, the workshops have sort of stemmed from, let's go back a little bit. I remember years ago, you and I were in Vegas, and you sat me down and said, "What the hell's going on with your life, and what are you doing?" And go see Tony, and I did, and I went to a seminar, and it sort of changed my life and sent me on a different path of clearing things out of the way. And I always thought to myself, it'd be great if I could do this on some level for photographers. And
Tony Robbins is so inspiring.
Very inspiring.
Wow,
and
one of the greatest things I did.
Yeah, he's great. And he mentioned you, of course. And it was, it really, if you allow it, if you listen and you allow it to, make a difference in your life, it will. And I did. And I really took it seriously. And because I was sort of at a point where I really needed a push. And I got invited to do these workshops by other photographers as a guest. And I come in here and I'd see how they were operating, and I'm like, I could do this better. Once again, I said I could do this better. So I put together a workshop. I got an executive assistant, put together this workshop, and my formula now is really trying to give people the experience as if what it's like to be a pro photographer with a pro team, with real models, real fashion models, real stylists, real makeup artists, a crew that's supporting you, and the right equipment. And I think we're on our 10th one now, and I've done them all over
Dr.
the world.
Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Josh Ryan, a world-renowned photographer, and we're now talking about he's taken his talents and he's actually showing other photographers all around the world how to shoot like him. It's good to have a professional team so they can aspire to see, hey, this is what it's like at the tops. This is what I need to get there. And, otherwise they might not have any idea. So he's got a workshop. And for any photographers out there or people that are not, that want to learn how to use the camera, www.joshryanphotoworkshop.com. Is that where they, they call you, and then what happens?
You go to the website and they sign up, and they can kind of see where the next event is. We just did one in LA, did one in Cabo before that. And basically they sign up, and I reach out to you and I ask you kind of what's your level of experience, and I just kind of prepare you, like, this is what you're going to need. This is what to expect, and that way I make little notes and I know what to work with them on, where they need work at,
Right.
So
I remember an experience I had with you in Greece that the person I was with, wanted to take a picture, and I was shooting into the sun, and I knew it wasn't going to work because I have no idea how to operate a camera, but I was shooting anyway, and I remember it wasn't going to work, so I had to pull out this 150-pound mirror out into the patio to have the sun reflect back on us.
Is this a spoon?
Yeah. So took this picture, and I remember showing you that picture of this model, and you said you saw the sun behind you. You said, "How did you do that, Garth? How did you do that?" I said, "I used a big spoon, and I just shine that light back onto that model with that spoon." And I knew you didn't believe it. you knew something was happening, but I was at least proud that you had acknowledged that I really did something.
You actually did a great job. I was trying to figure it out still to this day. I was like, I don't know if he really did that or
I
not.
kept telling you it was a spoon, but it was almost broke my back trying to get this mirror out.
Big mirror, yeah. I actually remember the mirrors in those rooms too.
So, what mindset do you bring to shoots to create that, instant chemistry with your subject? Is it, if it's the first time in front of the camera, how do you relax them, or what's your tricks?
I really try to compliment them and make them feel comfortable and be very personal with them and try to figure out where they're at, in their level of being comfortable on camera. A big secret that I teach is I always get people in front of the camera. I'll try to get one or two really great shots of them right away and make sure it's perfect, and turn the camera and show them how great they look. And that usually works. There's some people you can't please no matter what. They just have a different self-image, and that usually works. But I really just try to connect with them and make them feel, I always tell everybody, when you make a woman feel beautiful, you're gonna have a lot better result. Like when a woman feels beautiful on camera, everything changes. So
I want to come back and take pictures because I remember you making me feel like I was handsome.
You were. I took some great photos of you.
I want to come back. Okay, so what are your go-to tools or gear that you use? I know there's a big question for a shoot. I mean, it depends on location, your studio that you have, or do you believe that the camera that you get is as important as the eye behind it, or what's more important, the camera or the photographer?
Yeah, I'm not a tech geek. I'm not a camera geek at all. I can probably take your mom's old camera and shoot the same type of photo. I don't care about cameras. I have the latest and greatest. I didn't want to upgrade. I liked my old one, but now the programs are changing so much that the software is changing. You have to upgrade to the newest stuff. So, it's really the user. It's the camera's a tool.
Okay.
Like what brand of scalpel do you use? You could use any and probably do the same job. Probably.
Okay. So you've shot some of the most recognizable faces in the world. I mean, very, very famous people. Is there any shoot that stands out? Like this was an unforgettable experience, something that you felt, what was your shoot?
Well, I have to say,
other than mine.
I have to say, it goes back before sort of like the same time, before I got Playboy, sort of at the same time, actually, I got an odd break, and I think it was my first big break before Playboy, and very strange experience. I was walking through a model show on the floor downtown at the convention center, and I was walking through with a friend, and I saw Jenna Jameson over there to the side of me, and she was getting interviewed by a TV. There was TV cameras and lights around, and I walked by, looked over, and then she looked over and saw me, and said, "Excuse me" for a moment, and walked over and said, "Hi, it's Jenna. Do you remember me? I met her years ago." She goes, "Will you shoot me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was nobody at that time, and so I set up a shoot with her, and she ended up posting those pictures all over MySpace, and that was the first time I experienced the power of social media.
Yeah, millions of people.
It was crazy.
This is Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge here with Josh Ryan. We're going to return after the break to hear more of his stories. Hi, it's Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with Josh Ryan, world-renowned photographer who's just shot some of the most famous faces in the world, and I've known him for 20 years. And we're just going through some of his stories and advice. So is there a difference when you're working with a professional model and maybe a celebrity that has not had much experience behind the camera? I mean, that must be a little bit easier with the model that's been shooting a lot, or what's that like?
I've learned over the years shooting celebrities is not my favorite thing to do. It's usually more of a big pain in the ass, and dealing with it after the fact when managers and agents and publicists is a nightmare.
Cumbersome.
So, I'm just not a big fan of doing that. So I try not to do that unless it's a really, a great job or a really great project. But obviously experience is, bar none, the best way to work with a model. But I still work with models that have barely ever worked. And I love doing it because I like to challenge myself, and it keeps me sharp. once every other week or once every other week, I have a list of girls that are trying to reach out to trying to, work with me, and I'll see something in somebody and say, hey, let's set up a quick test with you and see what I can get out of them. And I found a lot of, great models from that have gone on to do big things.
Kind of discovered them.
Discover them, yeah. Help them, get in the right doors and stuff like that.
That must make you feel great.
It's great. It's great. I'm there's a couple right now that are traveling the world for guests, and they're all over billboards because of my recommendation. So, yeah, I really enjoy doing that.
Okay. So, could you tell me a little bit about this online masterclass that you have?
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and your workshop?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of people either can't get to my workshop because they're in another country, or they can't afford it and it's pricey. But the masterclass is sort of an idea that's been brewing for a long time, and I wanted to, I'm on set doing these things all the time, and I have these little tricks and techniques that are, they're hard to explain in a 1 or 2 day course. Mm-hmm. So I decided to start filming all my photo shoots and put them online and do a series and show my tips and techniques and, basically an online masterclass for, people who are wanting to learn what I do.
And where can they find this at?
It's, what is it? Shootwithjoshryan.com.
Shootwithjoshryan.com.
Shootwithjoshryan.com. Yeah, it just launched about 2-3 months ago. It's getting great feedback and a lot of traction, and yeah, it's been wonderful. I spent about 6 months to a year just filming nonstop. So I'm loaded up for a long time on videos, and so I got a full-time editing team that's just pumping them out each week, and it's been great. So.
Well, we have a mutual friend that's he's a perfectionist, and he knew nothing about a camera really before, and he took your class, and now he's shooting it for his business. He's a jeweler, and he is so excited. He's been so happy with what you taught him. I mean, he calls me, look at this picture, and he doesn't need a photographer anymore, so I guess he cut you out of the loop.
He cut me out.
He's doing his own.
He's doing his own work, his own campaigns.
I may go over there and get a headshot from him. I think he's cheaper than you, so I may do that.
He might put some earrings on you.
Yeah, he might. Fashion and photography styles change so fast. How do you balance staying current and still remaining timeless in your work, like you said that you've always tried to have that goal?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in simplifying, and that's what I've really done with my work, and I've just tried to simplify everything. My gear has gone down from an arsenal and a whole truck full of lighting and grip and this and that to literally a camera and one light, and that's sort of where I'm at in my career and my art, is just being very simple, and I feel like the most simple shots are the most timeless. And it's sort of
Is this because you're better? You read the light better, or is it post-production? And what?
All of the above. It's just my current aesthetic. It's what I'm drawn to. I love mastering natural light and finding bits of light here and there and where it comes from, or just using one direct light and really making it great. So yeah. That's where I've ended up at.
One of the things that's happened in our industry, which is, it's a double-edged sword for us, but, we're seeing a lot of these pictures that patients bring in. They say, I want to look like this. And, there's filters and filters and filters. And there's no way this is going to happen through surgery. And, is that filtering process been a problem at all for you? Or is it something that, you just say, okay, I'll put that filter on? Or
it is a problem. I don't think it's going to go away. These editing apps are out of control. They're so good. Number one, and so easy and so accessible. We actually one of the companies I work for, the girls were face tuning their campaign photos after they received them.
Wow.
Yeah, they all got a letter of cease and desist.
Is that from you?
Not from me, from the company. And it was pretty bad because my photos that I deliver, which I do all the retouching, I clean them all up, and they get the final product. They didn't look like my photos, so it's a problem. And also, as you understand, it creates unrealistic expectations, especially on younger girls or people that think that they need to look like that. So, and I get a lot of people, as I'm sure you do, coming into my office saying, I want photos like this, and I'm just telling you, well, this has been heavily modified. I hope you understand that.
How many men do you take photographs?
The only men I usually shoot are for brands. And I actually love working with guys because they're so easy. Easy. I shoot guys really great. So, brands like Skechers and activewear brands and even the Guess campaign, stuff like that, they're, those are usually the only guys I shoot. Once in a while, I'll have a male actor or somebody like that will come to me for shots, but it's not what I'm known for. So,
right.
Yeah,
but you're still talented at that.
It's not hard for me. It's easy. I find it very, very easy. So,
Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with world-renowned photographer Josh Ryan. Going through some other questions. Has AI affected your industry at all? Or?
Yeah, I think it's going to affect everybody at some point in every business. I think the best thing to do is learn it and, grow with it. It's not going anywhere. It's definitely made life more efficient, I would say, for my work, organizing, getting info, even editing. Some of the editing AI is just incredible. It saves.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it saves a lot of time.
Can you put in your the things that you really would prefer to have or see on an editing job, and you put those tendencies in for AI, and then it turns into a Josh Ryan editing?
What it does is that, like, say I have a great job that's not going to be seen. Say it's a clothing job and it's going to be an e-com photo shoot with 100 images that are all for a lookbook. What you can do is you can do one image on an app now, and you can batch process it, press one button, and they're all going to be like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's cutting out the retouching jobs of the past. So on the flip side of that, companies, like Guess, are currently experimenting with their first AI campaign. So all the new stores, all the stores and the billboards are the stores already are. It's all AI models.
And so if you take a picture, you put it into AI, they do the editing, whose property does it become? Have you lost control of that?
It's a good question. I don't know that. What they're doing is they're taking, I know that a lot of AI companies now are going to brands, and brands are going to grab a model, pay her a royalty, and use her likeness in an AI campaign, and cut out all the production fees.
So it's not even a real person.
It's not a real person, no. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the consumer connects with that, and if it, reflects back into sales. So, it's only time will tell. But the AI is getting so good. It's easy for me to spot now, but I think the average person will probably still have a little bit tough time.
Yeah, and maybe if they turn it down just a little bit, not so perfect, AI could be instead of perfect, 90%
it's going to
perfect.
adapt. It's going to adapt. It's going to be. It's going to get to the point where you're not even going to know. And the flip side too is also the video. The video's the same way. You can't even tell. So
yeah, I've seen those.
I think that there's always going to be a want and a desire for realism. I think people want to connect with an actual person. They want to see their heroes. They want to see people that they admire, dressed a certain way. I just don't think a robot or a digital personality is something to be desired. But who knows? We'll see.
Is there an app that you can apply to see this picture is AI, this picture is not AI? Is there something that you can see through your eye what's real, what's not real? But for the average person, is there some way to tell?
I don't think there is yet. I know that a lot of the platforms are requiring that you present the photo market as AI, especially on Instagram. So they're probably going to get more prevalent. Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's a whole new world.
Maybe it's a good app to develop. Is something that
probably
you can tell
isn't
the
it?
difference.
It's probably already out there somewhere. Maybe, who knows?
I mean, it's important probably to have that. If you saw something that's maybe not the best video or picture in the world that somebody would like out there, and at least you could prove that it's AI.
Yeah. I think it also, like I said before, it generates unrealistic expectations for people.
Do you feel like social media has changed the perception of beauty and glamour photography?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And you also see the styles changing more rapidly. I think, back before social media and before the digital world, things lingered and lasted a lot longer. Hairstyles, makeup styles, clothing styles. It's changing so rapidly now. It's crazy.
My wife was just looking at some books that had models in their 80s. I guess that look was very much different than today. The
Wait.
hairstyle, 80s. It was a cover of some magazines. I think this person had different earrings, the hairstyles,
Yeah.
whole thing. It's really funny when you look back at that.
Models
yeah.
in the 80s or models?
Well, there are pictures of models on covers of magazines.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a retro shoot.
Yeah, and everything comes back full
lingo.
circle. And like everything comes back around. Like I'm sure, film has come back around. It's made a resurgence. It's become a thing now where pro photographers are starting to shoot with film again. So,
Would you like to have been a photographer back in the Hollywood glam days, the 50s, 60s, and would you have liked that?
I think I would love, I came a little late to the game. I started when I was about 25, 26. I would have liked to have gone through the 90s because that's really what I'm obsessed with 90s photography. So it would have been great. And I have friends that, I was sort of, looked up to, photographers, and they used to tell me how great it was in the 90s,
It was great.
Unlimited budgets and
It's Dr. Garth Fisher with The Cutting Edge. I'm here with world-renowned photographer Josh Ryan, and we're going to be back after the break. Hi, it's Dr. Garth Fisher again. I'm here with on The Cutting Edge with Josh Ryan, a famous photographer, who's given us a lot of information about his life, his journey, and advice on taking pictures. That I guess it's not about the camera, though. It's about the person behind the camera, and he's a very talented artist. What advice would you give to a young photographer who wants to build a real brand, and somebody who's just picking up a camera and they're like, wow, I want to do this?
That's a great question. I get that a lot, especially in my workshops, and I really believe in finding a good mentor. It's not something that I had growing up or even coming up through the ranks as a photographer, and I wish I would have sought one out. And there's a lot of benefits to it, as I'm sure you know as well.
We all need mentors
Yeah,
in life.
you need someone.
Whatever we're doing.
Yeah, you need someone to inspire you, to tell you, hey, what the hell are you doing? This is wrong. So I really believe in that. So I think that's the great first step of doing this job. Yeah.
You probably had all age photographers come to your workshops, young, old, and I think from what I've heard, reviews, they just all think it was one of the best things they ever did in their life. So
I try to give a good experience to everybody, and
that's what I hear.
People 18 to in their 70s and 80s. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
What is Thirst Coin? Tell us about blockchain project called Thirst Coin. What does that mean? What is it? You're behind that?
I am. So I was actually working on a beauty app with a friend, and we decided to pump the brakes a little bit. He's like, I got this idea. I think it'd be really great. And we, there's a lot of meme coins out there, Trump coin, Dogecoin, all this stuff. And my friend, he's a funny guy. He came up with this Thirst coin, which is a bit satirical, but basically it's a meme coin or token coin, and we wanted to develop something where photographers and models could profit off their images or off their work, and
because people are constantly reusing your stuff.
They're reusing it, whatever. And we're developing this coin where coin holders will be able to unlock content of their favorite model, and that's sort of what we're building. And we started this, we launched it, and within the first week it sort of went out of control. And
I heard it's doing very well.
I mean, we had $1 million market cap in the first week, and we weren't prepared.
Right.
And they started getting mad. They very demanding, these crypto people, and so it sort of dropped off a little bit. But with the mention of me mentioning it in my story, I sort of legitimized the coin, and everyone's like, "Is this really you? Is this really a coin?" And the market cap went up. And then we did our first little experiment actually with your wife, and it turned out really good, and the response has been amazing. And now we understand it. We've sort of developed got a really good dev team going, and it's my new little project we're doing.
How does somebody find that? I mean, how do you?
You go on the blockchain. Or you can just go on the website. It's thethirstcoin.com, and you can purchase it through Solana or Jupiter Exchange, and hopefully.
Congratulations on that.
Thanks. Put your kids through college someday, hopefully.
Yeah. When people look back at your body of work years from now, what do you hope they see or feel?
Great question. When I started this workshop and the teaching, I did it obviously as a side hustle and for financial, but I really enjoy teaching people and helping people out and helping inspire people. So, I hope I continue to inspire people down the road long after I'm gone, and people look back at my work and books or whatever and get inspiration as I do from photographers that have passed. So yeah, that's, sort of the legacy that I want to leave behind.
That's good. I was going to ask you, this is kind of do you carry a camera everywhere with you? Yes, you've got your phone.
Your phone, yeah.
You got your phone, but if you didn't have the phone, would you be carrying a camera around your neck everywhere you go?
I'm not one of those guys. I am just not one of those guys, especially now. I am just so about just kind of being in the moment and not pulling out your phone every stop. And I'm just not one of those guys. I have a buddy that on the weekends he gets on his bike and takes his camera and just goes around and starts shooting everything. That's him. That's his obsession. It's not me. I just, I like to switch it off. And I've worked my ass off for the past 20 years. And sometimes, you just got to take a break and hit the reset button and get recharged back into, what you're really doing. So, yeah.
I know you're always hard to get a hold of. You're always shooting. You're always busy. You're always got something going on, and going to sounds like a great travel. The locations you go and shoot pictures.
It's a dream job.
It's like, wow.
I just actually just posted photos today from a job I shot on an island in the Exumas.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like the best job in the world. We went on a trip to Bahamas. It was great.
Yeah.
It's like the best part of the job, meeting great people like you and getting to travel. I never have to take a vacation. They're all just kind of, I loop my vacations in with my work. So now it's a little different with kids and everything. But it's been a great job, and it's been a lot of interesting experiences, from the Playboy Mansion to, guest shoots in Paris and all that stuff. And I'm very, very fortunate.
You're a new father. Tell us about your experiences. You're busy now at home and at work.
If you excuse my slurs today, I haven't slept much last night. I have a 5-month-old teething at home. I got a 4-year-old and a 5-month-old, and it's a game changer. It's been great though. It's good.
This 4-year-old.
It's good.
So I haven't met your daughter yet, but I've met Hunter.
Yeah.
And soon he's going to want the keys to your Camaro.
Oh yeah. He's a little firecracker. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
He's ripping around on electric motorcycles now. Yeah.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah.
They had stuff that we never had.
Yeah, I want his life, man.
And tell me, you like cars also. I mean, what are your hobbies?
Obsession.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I think you and I, of course, we go back and forth on cars all the time. I always have something I'm working on. As you know, like every time I come to your house, I come with something new. I'm always buying and selling, and of course, I have my favorite car, which is my '69 Camaro, which we use for your daughter's music video, and I love that car. And I have my Jeep, but I'm always wrenching on something.
You like the big trucks too?
I love the big trucks, man. That's my obsession right now.
Yeah.
Getting ready to build a new one pretty soon. Here.
Really? What are you gonna do?
I picked up one of these Denali pickups. I'm gonna make a Baja truck out of it. I love it.
Okay. How many horsepower is that?
You know what? I got a diesel. It's pretty cool. Turbo diesel.
Wow.
So we'll see.
I'm building a diesel too.
Yeah, I know. It's the first time I've ever dealt with diesel. I love it though. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah. It's a totally different animal.
It's fun to take that to. Well, I don't know if you could take it to Mexico. You wouldn't go. You get to Cabo with it, but I don't know. Is there a place to off-road around California?
Absolutely not. I just like driving around the streets.
Just go over the curbs.
Yeah. I had those Raptor, the TRX. I didn't think I ever took it off road.
Yeah. Yeah, you always do bring something over that's really, really cool, and you've got such an aesthetic eye. Even the trucks, everything he does looks so beautiful, and you can just see that you have this amazing taste.
Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd probably be doing something involved in that. And
I think you'd be in the car business.
Probably,
it's hard not to.
Losing money, spending everything. My obsession. So
I don't think the younger generation really appreciates the cars like the old muscle cars. Back in those days.
Yeah, it's funny. My friend's kids. He's got twin boys. They're 16, and they don't even care about getting a driver's license. They don't. They Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I could wait. I don't know about you. I couldn't wait.
No, I wanted to drive.
I had posters all over my wall of muscle cars and all that stuff. And it's a different world.
Lord, how much money I would save if I just just got an Uber every day or got a driver. It's
probably
all these cars.
Hey, you're missing out on a real life experience, though. You really are.
It's nice to drive the road instead of just sit back and look at your phone. And then
Yeah,
you're
I guess
there,
it's a
you know.
different it's a different time now. But remember, I don't know if you remember that far back, Garth, because it's a long time ago for you. But do you remember when you got your license and how the freedom it felt when you just being able to take off?
Leave the house.
Oh God,
And mom or dad wouldn't in the car.
it's like running free.
Only go a block. You go around the block. That's it. So I'm here with Josh Ryan. Garth Fisher is the Cutting Edge, and we're getting to a plastic surgery segment where I answer questions, and you can always go to my website, garthfisher.com, and there's a Q&A for KCBS for the questions, and then I'll try to answer them next week. So I'm going to be answering those questions now. But first, I want to thank Josh for being here. And Josh, how can people find you? What's the best way to kind of get all your
Yeah, you just Google me, Josh Ryan, or at Josh Ryan Photos is my social media, and my links are all there.
Okay.
So
You have to look at his photography. It's just amazing.
yeah, joshryanphoto.com is my website, and that pretty much links to everything too.
So the questions I got, we get questions every week, and this one is from Jason in Newport Beach, and he's, how can I make sure my facelift looks natural? And that's a really loaded question. It's dependent on technique and doctor. You can have a fantastic doctor, bad technique, it's not going to work. You have a bad doctor, a great technique, not going to work. You really have to find a good doctor, and if you see a patient that's had, or a friend that's had surgery that looks natural, it's good to start there. But there's two very, very important things, regarding a facelift. One is the pull. You want to pull the right direction and the right tension. The second is the closure. It's got to be perfect because you don't want people to see scars. And so this is actually not an easy procedure to do. It's complicated. And so there's no simple answer. But, the thing about plastic surgery, there's artistry involved. And it's not just doing a procedure and A to B to C and it's done. There's a lot involved. And so you just have to be careful when you do that. I would recommend never getting a skin lift. I would recommend having your doctor that's really comfortable with deep plane lifts, using the SMAS, which is a layer of the face, which you'll know about if you're in these consultations. Number two, do you have to replace breast implants every 10 years? This is from Monique in Los Angeles, and the answer is, in my opinion, no. I took out some implants in 2007, which were placed in 1965, and this was one of the first sets of implants ever put in a person. And, my office, we love this. It was like digging for a dinosaur bone. We couldn't wait to go in there and see what these looked like. And 42 years later, the worst technology in the world was still fine. So I've seen many that was over 35 years too. So they may last you 5 years. They may last you 20, 30 years. Number three, what do you think of thread lifts from Helen in Malibu? I'm not a big fan of thread lifts. I think they're done by people that can't do facelifts, so they do thread lifts. And these are very unpredictable, in my opinion. They last 2 months to 2 years, and then you go have a facelift done, and these have cheese wired through the tissue, make it a little difficult to do your other lift. So I'm not a big fan of that. Anyway, in closing, it's been a great show. I want to thank KCBS, Odyssey, our sponsors, and of course you, the listeners. I'm Dr. Garth Fisher. See you next week on The Cutting Edge.